Hello and welcome to a new video. Today we're going to take a look at the best Pokemon that you can best buddy in Pokemon Go for PvP, as this is something that some people suggested anyway, and like I want to have like this one filler video until like we have the three leagues again tonight, where we have like the Great League, Ultra League and the Master League. So we're gonna go ahead and we take a look at which Pokemon are the best to have in this category. Why do we want to best buddy things in Pokemon Go? In general, they get one more extra level, basically 2 power-ups over the best buddy bonus, which is for some Pokemon crucial. It's especially important for the Master League. Since we have level 50 candy in Great and Ultra League, it's not really that important anymore there. There were some very important matchups, for example, the 100% Sableye for level 41 prior in Great League, but it's not really that important since we have XL Candy now. So we mainly gonna take a look at like a deeper look into the Master League and see at like some bulk points there, but the other one I'm just gonna like sort, as we have the categories needed. Those are like most likely only gonna be a few in there that are really important. There are actually not that many important best buddy Pokemon. Very nice to have are Pokemon that are very nice to have. Closer to needed CP are like Pokemon that don't really necessarily need the best buddy boost, but because they don't get to either 2500 or 1500 without the best buddy boost anyway, you're gonna be able to like get them closer to that. So like it's kind of cool for this. And then we have the spicy tier, which is Pokemon that are funny to use but really not needed, and also like that you can best buddy for like smaller boys, as you see already in the list. We start with the Pidgeot, which is something that I would say is like it's closer to the needed CP. Again, you don't get to like 2500 with this, like 2400 or something is the cap with this. You get like closer to 2500. If you don't get the CP boost from best buddy, it's not the end of the world. Same with the Sandshrew. I looked at the matchups and I didn't find anything where that changes, but like of course you get a little bit more bulk. By the way, there is a way to see which Pokemon like gets an upgrade from best buddy boost if you want to look for your own Pokemon. You can go to PvPoke and you can see here, for example, the Palkia matchup in the Master League, level 40. We have the level 41 version here, and we have the level 40 version here. And you can go here ahead and like battle, and you see here what's gonna be. And you see here, for example, the best buddy one wins former matchups, which is kind of important. We're gonna take a look at this later. But the thing is here, the main reason why you really want to have the best buddy boost is that you can have breakpoints and bulk points. Breakpoints are points where your quick move does more damage a turn, like a general per usage against a certain Pokemon if you hit a certain attack value, which of course in Master League can be very important, and is very important there. Bulk points, for however, is basically the opposite. Your opponent's fast moves do 1 less damage than they would do if you are not best buddied. So if you take a look here, for example, at Palkia, you're gonna see, for example, here as the breakpoints, you have a breakpoint against Excadrill with the Dragon Breath. You do one more damage against Excadrill. Now if you best buddy your Palkia, there's some more that are there as well, which is then sometimes very important in general. I think there's some more. Actually, for this one, there's no more on this one. But then we have bulk points, and I think here are some more that help it out a little bit more. You see here like the damage from the fast boost the opponent do here. And you're gonna see here that most of them are actually pretty much the same. But if you go for that here, for example, against Dragonite, your Dragonite opponent, Dragonite does only 6 damage with the Dragon Breath. Well, yeah, like here before, like it wouldn't. This changes the matchup as well, as you can see here. Otherwise, you would not win against Dragonite. So, like this bulk point adds up. And the thing with bulk points and breakpoints, they're usually really important against and with Pokemon that have a 1-turn fast move or a 2-turn fast move, but mainly 1-turn fast move. Because if you do every turn 1 more damage to the opponent or take 1 less damage from the opponent, this adds up over time and makes a huge difference in some certain matchups, which is only really a thing in the Master League, to be honest. But let's take a look again at the tier list here. We're gonna go for some spicier picks, which you're just gonna order in here. This needs to be purified as well. You kind of want to have the return there for this thing. This is also like kind of spicy one with Scald. It's kind of cool. We have the Alolan Geodude, which actually has a really good moveset, the best moveset out of all the 3 forms of it, and can go to 1500 as well if you give it a best buddy boost. You don't like, you need a hundo for this thing. We have the Hypno, which needs to get closer to the actual CP for the Ultra League, which is cool. Same with the the fishy or whatever it's called, I forgot the name. You need like 3 elite charge TM, like elite TMs anyway for this, like to charge one fast. And now we're gonna go for the first one that is actually kind of needed, like if you really want to play the Master League Premier Classic Cup for real. And this is the Gyarados, and the Gyarados is actually kind of interesting, as this thing gonna be a little bit better than it was before. I think you have like a better matchup against Snorlax, especially if you have the Snorlax against you. And here's like the thing, Snorlax, if you're at level 41, you have a breakpoint against Gyarados, you do more damage there. And you also have a bulk point against Florges, which allows you to win the matchup also way easier, because the Vine Whip does every 2 turns than in general, because the 2-turn move does 1 less damage against you. So like those two against each other are kind of canceling each other out. They are the best 2 say swaps, and like if you have, for example, a best buddy Snorlax against a non-best buddy Gyarados, you would win against the Gyarados. If you have a best buddy Gyarados against the non-best buddy Snorlax, you would win with the Gyarados against the Snorlax. Like it's a really close matchup that really helps you if you have either of them best buddied. So this is like one of the more important matchups. Then you have like something that's very nice to have, for example, the Dragonite here. We're also talking, by the way, mainly about level 40 matchups, what we can see there. This thing here will hit a breakpoint against other Dragonites, of course. You wouldn't like against Dragonites because you have more HP, and I think you also have the breakpoint there. But you also hit a bulk point against Garchomp with Dragon Tail, which means that you survive 1 more Dragon Tail on general, even though it's a 3-turn move. Like it still actually matters a lot. And you're gonna be able to flip the matchup as well if you best buddy this. In the 2 shields, you also can beat Gyarados if you best buddy your Dragonite against a non-best buddy Gyarados with Dragon Breath. And you also win against Machamp, and you can also win against the Metagross in 2 shields as well, because I think you have like a bulk point or whatever. So like this one is like kind of important, but actually also not too important compared to the others, because these scenarios that I just told are very rarely the case. So it's actually like it's kind of closer to needed. So I think it's like very on the edge of how nice to have. Same thing for Mewtwo. Mewtwo actually has not really any bulk or breakpoints for that thing. Like it doesn't really benefit too much from the best buddy boost. The main thing where it benefits, why it's also something that's very nice to have, is that you encounter a lot of Mewtwo. So when you play Mewtwo that has Psystrike and Shadow Ball, you're gonna be able to win the CMP tie as you get more attack from the best buddy boost, which can be very important. And also I think there is some scenarios, especially against like Dialga, I think you win as well only with the best buddy boost, but by like a few CP if you go straight to Psystrike in the 1 shield scenario, which is very I mean vague, but like you can do this and you can have a better matchup there. So Mewtwo in general, like fan favorite, gonna be cool. Some more spicier stuff is actually this entire family. This gets to like 1300 or something for Great League, but has cool stats and is kind of bulky, which is funny, but it's more like a funny pick that people suggested. Lantern is also a funny pick for the Ultra League that actually kind of needed to get closer to the actual CP, because it's not that spicy. It's like, it's kind of spicy, but also like it's kind of cool, to be honest. Like it's not that crazy. Something that's nice to have also, which is kind of needed to get closer to the CP, but I would put to nice to have because it actually wins some more matchups with this, actually more than Mewtwo, is the best buddy for the 15-15-15 level 51 Umbreon for the Ultra League, as Umbreon gonna be able to win the matchup in the 1 shield scenario against a level 50 Skarmory, and also you win against the Alone Muk, as well as you win the 2 shield scenario against the Politoed as well now, which is kind of nice. So you have some like bulk and breakpoints there, which is cool, even though like your fast move is not the greatest there, but like you at least gain basically 1 more level, which gives you some more bulk, gives you some more stats, which is really cool because you don't hit 2500 without it. Something that's definitely very nice to have is the Wobbuffet, as you only get to like 1200 or something without, and like this thing in general gonna be like way below level, but this thing is actually really good because it's like insane bulk, and it's like something that you definitely kind of want to have. I think it's a really cool Pokemon for Great League. It's kind of niche, but has like a really nice moveset. It would have like a little bit better stats in general and gets still closer to the 1500. It would be completely busted, but like it's still already very strong. Mantine is definitely lower tier list as well, more definitely than the Lantern, would also put you behind those two more than the Lantern. This thing, if you don't know, the Skami is, I think, the exact same stance as the Mantine. So Mantine also gets to like 2380 or something in the Ultra League, so you can get it close to 2500 CP. But of course, it's more a spicy Pokemon. I actually don't like the Skami in Ultra League, so it's like kind of also just closer to the CP. Like it is viable, like you can play it, but like I wasn't really the biggest fan of it recently, so I wouldn't really put it too high. As we have a Pokemon that I actually like way more, and I really want to build, is the Dustox. I definitely put it at the lowest tier for nice to have. It's cool. It's like basically all of the last 3 tiers. It's spicy. It means closer to get to the 1500 CP, which is like kind of rare for the Great League for a good Pokemon. But this thing has basically the bulk of an Azumarill that's not XL, which is kind of amazing because it's like such a real Pokemon, but it has like insane amount of bulk, has Confusion, Sludge Bomb, and Bug Buzz, which is a decent moveset and can do something. It is, especially in like restricted metas, it's kind of cool. The Pelipper doesn't get to 2500 CP otherwise, so you also kind of want to have this. It's definitely better than the Hypno, for example, as well. Hypno should also be a little bit lower on the list. But yeah, also like the list is not really perfect anyway. So we're gonna go for the Spinda. Spinda is actually something that's really spicy, but also really cool. You also kind of need to get closer. I wouldn't actually consider it completely spicy. This thing actually has some play, as you have Psycho Kid, as you have the Rock Tomb. You have some really nice charge moves as well, and this thing has some good bulk as well. It's not really that bad. It's really kind of cool. I like it. You can use it, but it's of course not the craziest. Next up, we're gonna have something again that needs to get close to desired CP. Not the biggest game changer, but as you don't even get to 2300, I think you kind of want to have the Altaria for Ultra League as well, best buddied. Definitely gonna be a good Pokemon to use there as well. Going in against Pokemon here again, where we have some more information about. Level 41 Metagross gets a breakpoint against the Dragonite, which wins in the 2-shield scenario, unless like the Dragonite itself is also best buddied. And you also get best, like in general, you get like a better matchup against other Metagross, of course, as you win CMP, which is very nice. You have a breakpoint against the Everluck, which is not needed as you win anyway, but like you do more damage with your quick move there. It's kind of nice. So I would put it at the lower tier for nice to have. Definitely be higher than the Dustox, of course, but I actually think that the Wobbuffet might be even more important to even use the Pokemon, as I think you don't really gonna see the biggest difference between your like your level 41 Metagross compared to the level 40 Metagross in the Master League Premier Classic Cup. Another spicy one, which I just put in here because a friend asked me to. We have the Turtwig, which actually has a decent moveset, but sadly after the Razor Leaf nerf, it kind of got a little bit lower. But you can actually get it really close to 1500 CP, and has Seedbound, Body Slam, and Razor Leaf, which is a really good moveset. And actually I know that people had a lot of fun with this thing. Something that's very nice to have, and actually kind of more needed than most likely even the Wobbuffet, would be the Pachirisu. This thing is super bulky, the bulkiest electric type around. Sadly, it's completely region locked, so you will most likely never going to be able to get a good one. You need a 100% one. You don't get to 1500 CP anyway, so like it would be also closer to CP range there, but like this is definitely way more usable than, for example, the other ones down there. Yeah, like it's definitely a cool one. Of course, like the tiers itself, it's a little bit like overlapping as well. Like like really handling them completely perfectly is kind of weird. Like, but you can just go from the top to the bottom, and you see like which is kind of more important. You're actually a little bit more important than the others as well. We see the next one, which is of course also a spicy one, is the Drifloon, which is getting really close to 1500 CP. If you best buddy this thing, has access to a Hex, I think Iso Wind as well, but also the Omnious Wind. Basically like a stylish Drifblim for the Great League. Drifblim is still, I think, a little bit better just because they have access to Shadow Ball where you only have the Omnious Wind. But you can boost, it is funny, and you can best buddy it and doesn't get to 1500 CP at level 51, which is funny. And now we go for more things that are really more needed. We have the Dialga, and Dialga is the top tier Pokemon if you didn't know this, like as well in the level 50 Master League as well as in the level 41 Master League. like 14 Master League. Both of them really need the best buddy breakpoint there. Both of them really need this, as you're gonna be able to hit the mirror, like you need it for the mirror anyway. You need I think a 15, 14, 12 Dialga for the mirror, for the level 40 league at least, but you need a bulk point against this. You need like a bulk point and a breakpoint against like the Zekrom and the Reshiram. Both of them you beat easier, like you beat anyway, but you beat them way easier if you have a best buddy. You win the 1 shields against Mewtwo, otherwise you wouldn't survive the 3 Psy Strikes, which is kind of interesting. I think it's basically the same way I said about Mewtwo as well before. And you hit a Garchomp breakpoint, which is actually like also necessary to do more damage against Garchomp. And yeah, that's the same for level 50. Level 50, it's also way better from what I've seen so far. So like, this is the Pokemon that you need. Like, everything else is kind of still not necessary, but gives you some boost. But Dialga is something that you need to use. If you want to use Dialga in the Master League, you need to have a best buddy. This is like the main thing there. You need to best buddy your Dialga. And next up we have the Palkia. Palkia is something that people also suggested to me. Palkia looked as well good on paper, you saw it already. You also had like a breakpoint against the Melmetal, which gonna allow you to win the matchup in the one-shot scenario, which I saw before as well. And against D-Knight, as you saw before as well. So this one is kind of cool, but I would put it actually below Mewtwo. I think Mewtwo is more viable because Palkia itself is not as viable. But what is viable is the Giratina Altered, which you're going to be able to win the matchup against Zekrom and the Lugia in the two-shot scenario if you best buddy this thing. And I think that's kind of worth it. I think it's somewhere like in this range in general, those legendaries. Next up, we're gonna have Excadrill. The thing with Excadrill is this thing is really good in the Master League in literally every format of that. It's good in the Master League Premier Classic, it's good in the Open Master League because it beats the Dialga pretty easily, the Melmetal pretty easily, like everything else pretty easily. It's like very, very good and very, very safe. You have access to coverage for Ho-Oh, which is really nice. And so this thing is gonna be really nice. And this main thing here is you hit a breakpoint against other Excadrills if you do this, but you also win CMP. So if you lead this thing, in general, for leads, having the best buddy as a lead is always really cool, because if you have a mirror against someone that's not best buddied, you're always going to win the mirror, which is going to give you a really big advantage later on. So this thing I actually would put above Mewtwo as well, because you win the mirror, you have some breakpoints as well. I think some other breakpoints were there as well. But you also win, for example, the level 41 league in the one-shoot scenario against Rain Breath Gyarados, which is kind of cool. And yeah, like this thing is definitely has some play. I would definitely suggest you to best buddy your Excadrill. Next one is closer to, like both of them are kind of more closer to CP. This one is of course more needed. I guess it's nice to have. I have to put into nice to have, definitely over Pachirisu as well. The Galarian Stunfisk for the Ultra League only gets to 2433 CP, I think, without the best buddy boost. So you can definitely get him closer to the 2500 CP with this, which is kind of important. Same stats does the Unova version have, but of course this is more a little bit spicy and like more in the bottom tier, as it's not as good. It's definitely usable, but it's definitely not as good. Next up, a Pokemon that I actually really enjoyed when I used it was the Vullaby. I'm gonna put him actually into the very nice to have tier at higher end than Dustox. Of course, Dustox is definitely controversial. Like you can put Dustox actually in the spice tier, and like you cannot complain about it. It's not the craziest one, but I would actually put it into. I just want the Dustox, to be honest. But the Vullaby itself is really, really cool. This thing is basically a mana boss that you need to have like level 51 as well. For the Great League, it still doesn't hit 1500 CP. It's very bulky, but it has access to the Brave Bird, which the mana boss doesn't have, and makes it a very good closer, which is kind of cool to have. And I really enjoyed it last time I used it. I have to build another one as I evolved it into my Ultra League mana boss, which is going to be the next Pokemon, which has is of course nice to have and gets closer to the CP that you want. It is a little bit higher than the Stunfisk, and it's especially a little bit higher if you're on the Air Slash version. The Air Slash version got a win against the Shadow Swampert, the Greedent, the Drifblim, and the Charizard in the one-shot scenario. In the two-shot scenario, there's no difference, but like only the best buddy version got a win with Air Slash against those Pokemon in the one-shot scenario, which is kind of nice and kind of unique. Next up, we're gonna have two Pokemon again that have a good bulk point there, like Reshiram and Zekrom have the same stats, I think, as far as I know, as a Dialga. So they have pretty much the same bulk and breakpoints. They of course have a different typing there, but like against in the mirror, for example, the Zekrom would have a way better chance against like the other Pokemon that I already said against the Alga. It's basically the same there. But as both of them are not really as needed, I think the Zekrom is definitely higher, and I would put him like around the legendary tier again. The Reshiram itself is just way worse, so I would put him like below the like somewhere like Pachirisu tier. And yeah, for the last final Pokemon we have the Florges, which is something that you wouldn't really see there too much. Which you can see here now, by the way, for the Florges, you're going to be able to win against Togekiss in the Zero Shield scenario, which is something that you didn't do before because you, I think, take 1 less damage. You actually deal 1 more damage against the Togekiss with the Vine Whip. You also deal more damage against the Swampert, which is also kind of nice and boosted up the rating, as well as you're going to win the mirror there. So this is kind of how Florges is going to act. I can show you real quick as well if there's something different in the Master League. As you can see here, Florges in general has only 2 more wins actually, and the 1 win is again Togekiss and the other win is against Florges itself. So Florges itself is not really the highest tier, but is definitely cool to have as well. I would put it like somewhere very, like basically where the, below the Wobbuffet actually, like somewhere where the Metagross is. But yeah, this is like kind of the tier list. I would definitely recommend you to get the top 3 ones, as they seem to be like very good in the current meta. You can basically take every legendary which you want, which you see a lot of times in the Master League. If you have a specific lead that you use a lot of times, you should definitely try to best buddy this, as if you face a mirror lead, you're going to be able to win the mirror lead. And other than this, if you ever want to know, okay, do I really want to best buddy this Pokemon, then just go to PvPoke and look at the meta here, for example the Sandshrew, and you can take a look at the bulk and breakpoints in the Matrix mode, and you're gonna see, for example, for the Sandshrew, I think there's not a single thing that changes here, so there it wouldn't really make too much of a difference. But yeah, in the Matrix mode, PvPoke, just take a look at your own Pokemon, and those are the things that I would recommend you for the Go Battle League. But in general, the importance of the best buddy boost in Go Battle League kind of went down, other than the Alga, which is really needed. There's nothing that you really need completely to like compete, so like it's kind of fair for this. Definitely, like, of course, every kind of legendary has some kind of importance there and is good for this. So yeah, that's gonna be it for the video. Thanks for watching. See you next video. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.